Hi everybody, welcome back to the bench. Today we're going to do bag 3 of this Kyosho MP11 build. I want to talk a little bit about what I did kind of in the intervening time here since we did bag 1 and 2. One of the things is I was complaining to Chris Allison here in the shop about the fact that the stock MP11 comes with a mod 0.8 spur. I have a bunch of mod 1 bells, and I really wanted to be able to use those. And since the mod 8 and mod 1 are not compatible, what Chris told me was that I should pick this up, which was mod 1 spur. Here's your part number. It is IF403B, and it is a 46 tooth mod 1 spur. So this is going to let me use my existing bells, which I have a bunch of. Like I said, I have a bunch of different kinds. I've got RC Project bells, which are great, and I've got Red's bells, which are also great. I just would hate to not be able to use them, so I put this mod 1 spur on, and that'll solve that problem. All right, let's jump in with bag 3. See how we do. Looks like we've got arms, wing mount. Looks pretty sturdy. Wow. Okay. Looks like some hose tubes, maybe body mounts for sure. Yeah, I guess we'll see what those are when we get to there. Shock tower, pill block, bunch of screws. Put those on my magnetic parts piece there. Some washers, some pills for the blocks. It looks like they're kind of limited on what you can set on your pills for your hinge pins. We'll get into that too. Guess that's the other block. Probably the rear, and this is probably the front. I'm not sure. I guess we'll see. I don't even know enough to be dangerous yet. And I stress, yet. Okay. Everything out of bag 3. Get our staples. And yes, I have magnetic fingers. Okay, let's see what we need to do here. It looks like the first thing we'll do is put the block on the gearbox. I'll bring my instructions over so we can all see them. Which pill block does it get in the back? It looks like this one. And our pills are going to be these ones that say RR suspension bushing. They say all A, B, C. Oh, here's R. There's codes on the back of the pills that say RR, RF. I guess that's rear, and rear front. I guess we'll get into that. Yeah. So for these sprue parts, it looks like we're going to need this piece here. What others? Doesn't look like any yet, but we will need some pills. What are they? They're RRB. RRB. So RR, there are all these here. We want B. Okay. I guess we go B out on both. Okay. And how do they go? It looks like the B faces out of the car. So this one goes on this side. And this one goes on this side. Right? Yeah. There's your B's out and out. We'll need some screws and our gearbox. Which screws do we use here? 4. Three by 15. 3 by 15. Button heads. 3 by 15. What? Is that 12? 3 by 15, maybe? Yes. So this screw and this one. Oops. All right. Go through the gearbox. Okay. There's a little notch in the bottom of the gearbox that falls into the slot in the pill carrier, hinge pin brace, whatever you want to call it, block. Going into plastic here, you want to just be 2 fingers tight. And that gets that one done. And then I guess we have to put this block on top of the gearbox here. Looks like. Yeah. So that'll go there, and it needs M4 by 10. So there's only a couple of M4 screws here. Let's make sure we get the right ones because there are droop screws here. And the droop screws, you'll see a little bit different. I don't know if this will show up, but the droop screw has a hex head on the bottom and the top. Oh, actually not this one. These don't have a hex head on the top, just on the bottom. So this will face into the chassis, and that'll be how you tighten it in. And the other ones have a socket on the top. So make sure you get the right screws. Obviously, the droop screws are not going to be interchangeable here because you can't drive them in from the top. That's kind of cool. Like I've said in other of the build videos, I'm used to building techno kits, and on the techno kits, they kind of mix in the droop screws with the other stuff, and you really have to pay attention because unless you look at the bottom of the screw, you might pick up the wrong one. I've done that before. I've put the wrong screw in for droop on the arms, and yeah, it's a bad time. Pretty much the fix is to take the arm off, put the right screw in place, and then bring it back. Okay, so that's this plastic bit put on the front of the gearbox and the pill block put on the back of the gearbox. Let's see what's next. It looks like we're going to take these arms off of the sprue here and put our hinge pins yeah. I guess we'll need that. Let me give these a little trim just to make sure we don't get any of this stuff binding up anywhere. Just make it nice and smooth. Nothing fancy. I don't know if this would cause a problem, but I'd rather do this now than find out I have to do it later. Oh, there's pieces on the front too. I guess you got to take those off as well. That side doesn't look like it really needs a trim. Nice and neat. Yeah, same there. I will give this part a little shave, just like we did on the other one, because it just looks terrible. And I'm just afraid it's going to bind up, like I said. All right. Cool. Next, looks like we're going to take our hinge pin brace in the front. That's going to get RF, and that is B again. So RF this time instead of RR. RF B. These two. Right. And this is the same thing. We go out and out. Yep. So the B letter is going to face out of the car. Okay. And then we're going to need hinge pins. And it looks like these washers will go on either end of the arm, like so. And then the arm will go in the hinge pin brace. Is that right? The shock should be in the rear, correct? Yeah. The shock mount in the back. Well, these actually tell you L and R, left and right, on the arms. Very cool. Oh, we have to put those droop screws in, yeah? Let's do that. And those are 2.0 on the top, or yeah, 2.0 on the top, and I don't understand which was which. I guess this is left. Okay. And then the droop screw goes here. So I'll put the driver through the hole, the droop screw on the end of the driver, and then I guess we go counterclockwise? Yeah. Counterclockwise to draw it in. And I'll just pull it all the way up for now, and then we can adjust the droop once we get everything put together. Same thing. I'll put my driver through, droop screw on, and then press it and counterclockwise again. Okay. Now, let me see if I can get this right. I think we want to go like this. And Is that right? Yeah. Like that. You get hinge pin, 2 washers. Same thing the other side. Oopsie. And then put the front block on. Then we just need to screw this into the gearbox, looks like. And what screws do we get there? 3x12. These guys, right? Yes. Where's my hole? There we go. Again, 2 fingers tight. Don't go hog wild. And oopsie. All right. Now, what did we miss? Because I'm sure I missed something. Can't be that easy, right? Maybe it is. Yeah. Looks like I got everything on this block. Now let's come down and do this one. For this one, we're going to use our shock power. And standoffs. Yeah. Three by 22mm screws through the standoffs. Let's do those now. 3 by 22. That's that one. Is it a 2.0 or a 2.5? 2.5. And we'll want to put some thread lock on these guys. It's metal and metal. Anytime you've got metal on metal, put some thread locker. And if you watch me for a little while, you know that I like to run a screw in and run it back out and run it back in and run it back out a few times just to make sure that the thread lock gets sort of spread everywhere. Anytime you've got metal on metal, I always like to say that you want to make sure that none of this stuff comes apart without your permission, right? You want to make sure that it doesn't come undone, especially during a race. So let's see which hole they have out of their stock. So I guess let's go with the second hole from the inside. And it looks like these thread all the way through, which is kind of cool. I'm not really used to that. You thread all the way, the screw goes all the way through the standoff, it appears. And so maybe you'd have less chance of breaking a standoff if the screw drives through it. I guess we're going to find out. again, back to our technos. The standoffs, the old standoffs used to break a lot. They were sort of cast and they had a thread on both ends. They were not very much good. We broke a lot of them. Then there are the newer techno standoffs that are pretty good. They have the screw threads into them just like these. I think I used the wrong screw on that one. I did. There should be enough to come through for a nut to go on to the end to hold your shock on. So we missed a beat there. I did not measure correctly. That's my mistake. So let's find the actual right side screw. Let me just stand all these up. I'll get the tallest ones. How about that? That's not it. That's not it. That's probably it. No? Is that not it? Well, missing something. Oh, here's another one. Yeah. Okay, so these two. And this one. Go back with these guys. Right? Yes. All right, I got the right screw this time. And get some thread lock all over it. Okay. I wonder if these are difficult to change when you need to. Kind of a lot of work. Right. Grab a napkin, clean up that thread lock. Okay. Next. Oh. Oh, that thread lock's already going to work. All right. That was nice and tight. Okay. Let's see. Next, we want to put the body mount. Looks like it gets this one. Right? Yes. And it gets this little countersunk screw. Well, it goes together nice. Okay. This is a 2.0 screw, or 1.5, 2.0. And then there's a little peg that'll key into the hole in the shock tower there. So, and when you tighten this screw down, it'll bring everything together. And that key will keep the body post sitting upright. Now, only 2 fingers tight there. Okay. And next, we'll go and put the shock tower on the gearbox, it appears. And we'll want to go in from the back, right? Yes. It's these button head screws that appears on the bottom. That would be these two holes. And the other side. Just want to bite. Let's try with the driver. There it goes. There. Okay, next page. It looks like the rest of these screws will all get driven in similarly. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And they go where? Okay. Looks like this one goes here. Then the top one will go further up, and it looks like they thread into the shock tower, which is kind of... This is not right. Can it be? I mean, the screw's threaded right through the gearbox and into the plastic bit there. That appears to be right. I just don't quite understand. Then these just thread into the shock tower, but I don't know. Oh! Wow. This manual is difficult. Okay, I'm dumb. What I didn't even see. Ew. Okay, hang on, I'll show you. This is a terrible mistake on my part. Maybe. It might be a mistake on Kyosho's part, too. Let's look at this. So, in this manual, you can actually see, if you look closely, there is a wing mount right in here. And that's very difficult to make out, Kyosho, if I'm looking at it from like a little bit away without my glasses on. Like, that almost looks like it's just a part. Okay. So, wing mount. Let's do this the right way. That's why things seem strange. That makes more sense. That's much better. Okay. Yeah, it helps when you look at the manual closely, huh? All right. That's much better. I guess these should probably get thread lock on them. I'll add a little bit. Yeah, they definitely need some thread lock. Definitely. So I'll just back them out a little bit, put a dab in there. And then we'll make sure it gets in there and clear it out after I've driven the screw in. All right. And yeah, see it pushes out, so we know we got plenty of in the threads. All right. Get that thread lock off there so it doesn't look so bad. All right. We have arms and a shock tower. Starting to look like a rear end. Where does that leave us in terms of bags? It looks like that is actually the end of bag 3. So let's do this. We'll take a break for now, then I'll come back and we'll do bag 4 on the next video. That went together nice and easy. I only made a couple of mistakes. No complaints except for, you know, that wing mount is a little bit challenging to see in the picture here. Maybe some shading or something would help that stand out a little bit better. I'm not sure, but yeah, once you take a close look at it, you can see that there's a wing mount there and that it belongs on the back. And yeah, I'm not smart. All right. So when we come back, we'll do bag 4 and we will get the rest of this rear end built. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next.